Survivor Series WarGames 2025 is officially in the history books. So, why don't we talk about it? What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to my Survivor Series pay-per-view review for 2025 Survivor Series WarGames, I should say. We obviously had two big WarGames matches, two big title matches. So if you haven't seen it yet and you don't want spoilers, click off the video. Maybe go watch my predictions, which I'll leave up there from Friday night before the show. And then go watch the show. And then you can come back to this video to see my review, my thoughts, the results. But if you just want a quick, brief summary of everything, then that's what we'll be doing today. So, 3, 2, 1, spoiler, Dominic Mysterio regains his Intercontinental Championship from John Cena, meaning John Cena will go on to Saturday night's main event. His final ever in-ring appearance in the WWE will be in the final of the Last Time Is Now tournament. Well, I suppose against the winner of the final of the Last Time Is Now tournament, which seems to be more likely than not Gunther. He will be championshipless. Dominic Mysterio regains his title. He did it with a bit of help from Finn and JD. Well, a bit of, they tried to help. Didn't really help. But then he fakes an injury. Liv and Raquel hit him with a big power bomb. A Tahana bomb, that's what Raquel's finish is called, and a Pop Rocks before Cena looked to have it in the bag. Liv Morgan returns, smacks Dom in the face, jumps on Cena, and as she's all over John Cena in his arms, she hit him with the move he did to Cody Rhodes at the Elimination Chamber this year. Mid-hug, her face changes, and she kicks him right in the balls. It's a nice callback to that. I liked that. I like to see the Liv Morgan. I don't know if she turned heel. She sort of turned. She was a heel to begin with. She sort of briefly, I suppose, turned face on Dom, and then it was a bait out and actually turned heel again on Cena. So she sort of remained a heel. The status quo is the same. So she turns on Cena, assists Dom for the win, and it really cements not only Dom but Liv again. Raquel and Roxanne specifically, and the whole Judgment Day, albeit he dealt with Finn and JD. But it's interesting up until this point, Cena's been in the WWE 25 years. He's called the greatest of all time on television. He's known as one of the greatest superstars of all time, if not the greatest. And 5 people came out to help Dom, all told. No one came out to help John Cena. No one gives a shit about John Cena or him keeping the IC title. I suppose they see him as more of a threat than Dominic Mysterio. So yeah, that's what happened there. I thought it was the best match of the night. It was the most enjoyable for me. The crowd was hot. It's in Dom's hometown. It's for a title. There was actually, there's stakes on the line for it and all that good stuff. So yeah, my favorite match of the night, and one you can, it's got rewatchability. It's a fun match. Up next, before we talk about the women's WarGames match and the men's WarGames match from the main event, we will briefly touch on Stephanie Vaquer, the Women's World Champion, going into the match against Nikki Bella. And, as I predicted... I was actually 4 for 4, may I just add. I don't know. I know it's only 4 matches, opposed to the normal 5 matches on this show. Incredible gate. This is a record gate, for the WWE, for TKO. Huge thanks to Petco. I was watching the post show after it, and he said a huge thanks to Petco Park and the fans, but mostly Petco Park. Dickhead move. So not mostly to the fans, which is what you would say, isn't it? You'd say thanks to Petco Park, but thanks to the fans especially for making it such a great place, such a great venue. We'd love to come back here. Not that way of buttering them up, buttering up the sponsors. It'd be like, yeah, I'd love to come back here because the fans were so great. It's such a great venue. He said especially Petco Park. fuck you, Triple H. I don't. I've got a love-hate relationship with him because I don't love him as a wrestler, if I'm honest. Take him or leave him, you know? He was never the absolute biggest star in the company, and really, he was never the top guy in the company, and I think that rubs him the wrong way. Might have been part of the reason why he fucking ruined John Cena's retirement tour, but we'll get to that in a couple of weeks, alright, once it's all said and done. I think his first year, maybe year and a half, up until Mania 40, I'd say since Mania 40, it went a bit downhill. That was the peak of WWE for like the last, God knows even how long. Probably since the Attitude Era, right? We're talking like the biggest boom wrestling's seen in a long time. It's led to Netflix signing this $5 billion contract. And then it's like, after all of that, they abandoned what had got them to that point. Celebrities didn't get them to that point. Celebrities joined in when they got to that stage, you know? But again, I'll talk about this in another video because if you don't know, well, I'm assuming you do know, December starts tomorrow, Monday the 1st of December. Just like last year, I am going to be doing daily December uploads. So one video plus shorts and reels and stuff, and maybe daily December spots all throughout December. So stay tuned for that because I'm going to be doing tons of videos. I've got some stuff planned. I've got some stuff filmed already. And, you know, if you've got any video suggestions, leave them down in the comments. But yeah, as I was saying, I just don't get it. I don't get that part. But anyway, I think I was starting to talk about Stephanie versus Nikki Bella, which obviously Stephanie retained. So it was pretty obvious. I don't think it was going to go either way. It wasn't a great match. It was okay. Stephanie's spiral tap-like move is really cool. So yeah. But just not that interesting. Feels like sort of fillerish until we get to like the business end of the wrestling calendar, you know, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, and all that stuff. So yeah, okay, not great. Women's War Games match was all right. I didn't hate it, and it's getting pretty bad reviews. I think the whole show in general, other than Cena Dom, is getting pretty bad reviews, and just the show generally is getting pretty bad reviews. It wasn't great. You know, I feel like the War Games stipulation is getting a bit old and they just throw teams in there for no reason. I think it would have been a different story if Rollins was in there, and it would have been a bit of a different scenario. The Women's War Games match wasn't terrible. I just thought that, it was all right. It was a bit awkward. I find those match stipulations to be a bit awkward. You know, a lot of it is just filling time. You got a one-on-one match for 5 minutes, and then after that, it's an advantage to one team for 3 minutes, and then it's a equal playground. It's a fair match for 3 minutes, and it's back to an advantage for 3 minutes. You know, there's a lot of back and forth and different people coming in, and they come in with weapons. They didn't use many weapons really. Kyrie had a chain. Io had a trash can or a bin lid. Rhea brought out the rest of the bin. They didn't really use much, which I feel like War Games should be a bit more violent than that. I'm not saying they have to do like AEW Blood and Guts, because that's had a lot of sort of negativity thrown its way in the other way, in the way that it's too aggressive. You know, they don't appeal to kids or family audiences because of that and stuff like that. But I think the men's match did it better. They still didn't have loads, but they had tables, they had chairs and kendo sticks. I'm pretty sure Rhea had a kendo stick as well, or a couple of them. And the men's match had a bit of blood. You know, Punk was bleeding early, Cody was bleeding, stuff like that. The women's match was okay. I think it was quite predictable that AJ Lee would get the win over Becky, because that just makes sense. Becky's not the Intercontinental Champion anymore, though. Obviously, it's Maxine Dupree, who would have seen that coming. But I don't know where they go from there if they're going to face off at WrestleMania. I don't like the fact that it sort of keeps Punk and Rollins involved for when Rollins comes back, because that feud has been going on too long. It just needs to end, really. But AJ gets the win. Happy for her, you know. She's back in wrestling. Looks like she's enjoying it, so that's all good. But it wasn't a great match. Lash Legend, I thought she looked good in her spell at the end. felt a bit bad because she didn't get a pop because, she was probably Kyrie didn't really get a pop either, but she's like the least known person in the match, and you had her coming out last. But she looked strong at the end, and she got misted by Asuka, which I liked because it protected her in defeat as well. Io hit the big swanton, split leg swanton from the cage with the trash can on her head, as is synonymous with Io Sky and War Games over the last couple of years. Using the trash can. So yeah, that was a cool spot. And then you get Charlotte just threw Becky into a punch from Alexa for some reason instead of like the sister Abigail or whatever. And then a riptide into the Widow's the Black Widow. So yeah, pretty cool finish, but not a great match in general. Then we get to the men's War Games match, which probably my second most anticipated match of the night, other than Cena Dom, was what I was looking forward to the most, just because it's Cena's second last ever. So you sort of got to. Started off with Punk Braun Breaker, didn't it? And I thought it was okay. I don't know why they didn't do Punk Drew to start it off with. That's a blood feud. I get that they're trying to build Braun as like the he's the guy, he's the threat. But they could have had Punk versus McIntyre to start it off. Just seemed like a slam dunk. He did come in second, but it wasn't. I mean, he hit him with a pretty nice Claymore straight away. After that, Cody came in, which was pretty nice to see Cody. But then it seems like it just died a bit on the face side, because you got Punk and Cody in there, and then Jimmy comes out, and after Cody comes in second and Punk starts it, Roman's going to come out last. So yeah, just a bit meh, really. And then who did you get third? Was it Logan third, and then Bronson and Brock came out last to try and destroy everyone. And then Roman comes out and War Games starts. It was just a bit. It was all right. It weren't terrible. It was all right. It didn't feel as good as previous War Games matches. And I suppose because of last year, Bronson breaks his foot and stuff like that. They're trying to avoid injury. Cody hit the big crossbody off the top as soon as he came in, because he climbed over the cage. Some cool spots in there, I suppose. I thought the bit where Jay got Brock up in front of the table in the corner, and Roman was going to hit him with a Superman punch just didn't make sense. Just spear him, right? Why? It doesn't make sense. Jay ran back his entrance in the middle of War Games when this guy says he's not just an entrance. He wants to be more than just an entrance. And you're playing your entrance music during a match called War Games. It's supposed to be serious. I find it hard to like him, unfortunately. Some of the stuff in there was good. I feel bad for Jimmy because he's just not that popular, is he, compared to the rest of the match? Whether that be in a face or a heel way. Obviously, he's more popular with the with younger fans than any of the other team will be. But it just fell a bit flat for me. And then you have Austin Theory, apparently. People think it's Austin Theory, coming out in a black hoodie. He does a super kick, which didn't look much like Seth Rollins, and then hits a curb stomp, which, obviously that's Seth Rollins' MO, that's his finishing move. So you think, oh, they've done another Seth's got injured, but he's actually playing them. But it turns out it's probably going to be Austin Theory. I don't know how that's going to go down, if I'm honest, with people. I know people were throwing Austin Theory around as one of the names when the vision sort of started, as he could be like the fourth man. But I don't know. I don't know where it's going, to be honest. So yeah, that's about it. Pretty lackluster, I thought, overall. I'd give it like a 5 or a 6 out of 10, maybe. It wasn't great. Cena Dom was good. The War Games matches were okay. They're just a bit formulaic to me at this point. Bring back the 5-on-5 elimination. I know they did it on SmackDown with Sammy and Solo. Don't care. I really don't care. Solo's team won and the Wyatt Six came out. It just doesn't really interest me. War Games should be for a blood feud, as as Hell in a Cell was. You know, they've got rid of the individual Hell in a Cell event, and they've now given it to, you know, the blood feud, like Punk Drew last year was in Hell in a Cell because it deserved to be, and it should have been in Hell in a Cell with how their feud was. It makes sense. None of this matters. Why is this a War Games match? Right. If they're going to have a War Games match, fair enough. Braun, Bronson, Seth would be 3. You can put them against Jimmy, Jay, Roman. They've been feuding with the Vision. Cody and Punk are involved. I'm not really sure why. I get that obviously they're going for them as champions, but Cody's on the other brand. So, and so's Drew. They're just put in there together for some reason. Brock doesn't need to be there for any fucking reason. And I saw quite a funny tweet earlier that said, because obviously the cages were removed, the shark cages were removed, which you normally got at War Games in the entranceway where all of the wrestlers are standing waiting to come out. And they said Brock didn't want to wait in a cage for half an hour. And that's why they scrapped them. And obviously a bit of a double meaning, you know, Brock just doesn't want to be in a cage because, you know, he's involved with Vince McMahon's whole, you know, sexual deviance and the open lawsuit at the minute. So weird situation. Don't like Brock Lesnar. Don't like Logan Paul. Why is he involved in the Vision? Austin Theory's here as well now. It's all a bit odd. I'll probably do some more videos about this. You know, Let's Talk Wrestling, a recap on Monday Night Raw tomorrow, because there'll definitely be some stuff coming out of it, obviously. Just not great. And that's the last pay-per-view of the year, right? You get Saturday night's main event in 2 weeks, and then the Royal Rumble sometime in January, I'm assuming. I don't actually know. Last year it was the 1st of February, which was weird. But I'm assuming the Royal Rumble will be back to January this year. So yeah, that's everything from me for today. But I've got videos coming out tomorrow, the day after, the day after, the day after, all the way to the 31st of December, all the way until the new year. So if you're looking forward to any of that, please do subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications if you're new. If you've enjoyed, like the video, comment any of your thoughts, if you got your predictions right, or anything else, any video suggestions you might have for Daily December. Share it around, hype the video if you can, because I just think it'd be cool. Daily December starts tomorrow. My goal for it is to hit 600 subscribers by the end of the year, if that is at all possible. Last year, I set the goal of reaching 300 subs by the end of the year, and I just about made it. Well, I didn't, I don't think. I think I made it like an hour after, you know, the bells had already happened. But I was at 300 subscribers by the time I woke up on the 1st of January. So that was all good. But anyway, my goal for this year was to hit 500 subscribers. I've done that. I did that a while ago. I'm now at 555 at the time of recording, so that means I need 45 subscribers over the next 31 days. I think that's doable to get to 600 subscribers. So hopefully we can do that. If you haven't already, please do subscribe so that you can help me along that journey. It'd be much appreciated, as would any of the other things I have said in the video. So thank you guys for watching. I will see you next time, which is tomorrow. Goodbye.